This week's Torah portion is a fascinating Torah portion containing in it the Shema, the Ten Commandments, and many other fascinating and fundamental ideas of Judaism. But what I want to focus on today is the Haftorah, the portion of the prophets that comes from Isaiah and starts with the words Nachamu, Nachamu Ami. Comfort, oh comfort my people, says God. And this actually begins a series of 7 haftarot that have the theme of comfort and embrace and reconciliation and love that bridge us all the way till Rosh Hashanah, till the High Holy Days. One of the interesting questions that the commentaries discuss is this double phraseology, this double expression, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami. Why the double comfort? What is the significance? What is the meaning of this double expression? To understand this, we can look at a story in the Talmud. In the tractate of Makot, there's a fascinating story of Rabbi Akiva and his colleagues who lived around the 1st century Common Era, just after the destruction of the Holy Temple. And the Talmud describes a stroll that was taken with Rabbi Akiva and 3 of his colleagues. And they were walking towards Jerusalem and were standing on Mount Scopus from where they could see the beautiful view of the entire city, except for one very sore point right in the center, the place where the Holy Temple once stood and now lays in ruins. And not only that, but a fox was roaming right in the location where the Holy of Holies once was, where the high priest would go into only once a year. And now the fox is roaming there in complete disregard for the sacredness of the space and place that it is. And as Rabbi Akiva and his colleagues see this, his colleagues start to cry. And Rabbi Akiva starts to laugh. Rabbi Akiva's friends, the colleagues turn to him and say, Akiva, why are you laughing? To which he responds in the typical Jewish fashion with a question. And he says to them, why are you crying? And they say, don't you see what we see? Don't you see the temple in ruins and this desecration of such a holy place? To which he responds, that's precisely why I am laughing. When I see this fox roaming the Holy of Holies, this reminds me of the prophecy that predicted this exact event would occur and this exact thing would happen. And when I see this prophecy being fulfilled with such accuracy, this reinforces for me the belief that the prophetic vision and promise of the future redemption will also be fulfilled with exact accuracy as well, and that the promise of future redemption is now solidified in my mind and in my heart. Their response to Rabbi Akiva, his friends turned to him and said, Akiva, nichamtanu, Akiva, nichamtanu. Again, using a double phrase, Akiva, you have comforted us. Akiva, you have comforted us. So in this story too, we have a double expression of comfort. But it becomes a little bit more clear of why the comfort is double and what the significance of the double expression is. It's inevitable, unfortunately. Life has disappointments. Life has moments when we are sad and mourning and feel a sense of loss. And very often the comfort that we are able to generate during those times is limited to having a long-term view of saying, yes, indeed, now is difficult, now is challenging, but we'll get through it. The future is brighter, the future will be better. So there's a certain level of comfort by knowing that the pain we are experiencing today is temporary. And that justifies one nachamu, one nichamtani, one expression of comfort. But then there is another aspect which is a little bit deeper. And this is when we look at what we're experiencing now And the experience that we are going through now helps us realize the quality and the depth and the power that the future holds. Not just trying to get through now to get to the future, but trying to tap into now to transform it to make the future even greater. And this is the example that Rabbi Akiva was demonstrating to us. He wasn't just looking at the ruins of the Holy Temple and saying there will be a better time, but he was looking at the ruins and saying the ruins show me how profound and how precise the better times will be. And in our own experiences, in our own life, when we see setbacks, when we see difficulty and hardship, our challenge is to muster up a deeper sense of conviction, a deeper sense of passion to make that negative experience into something positive, to transform some of the pent-up frustration and channel it into something even greater that wouldn't have taken place if we didn't have that setback that launched us into that future. To take a simple analogy from a springboard that helps us jump higher, the springboard can only have the impact and the effect of catapulting to a higher place if we go down first. And in that process, we are going further away from the launch, from the place we want to reach. But sometimes going down helps us generate the momentum to go up and go up in an even higher, greater way. And this is the Nachamu, Nachamu Ami. This is the double comfort. To realize the hidden gift of every challenge, to discover greater strength, the reservoir of potential that is hidden beneath the surface that may have otherwise not have been recognized. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami.